Yo, what's up, my brother? In this video, I want to share with you an insight that I got a few years ago when I was trying to figure out like how do I create sexual tension with a woman when I just met her or when I have a date or when I'm, at home with her and about to have an intimate moment.
There is no sexual tension, okay?
And at the time, I was really confused about how to create sexual tension. I was a recovering nice guy, so that meant, I was a people pleaser. I was overly nice with women. Women would tend to friend zone me pretty much every single time. And it was very frustrating. I was feeling lonely. And I even started to think like, is there something wrong with me? Like, why? Like, I'm tall. For some people, I'm good looking. I have green eyes. Why don't I get results with women? Why they keep on friend zoning me?
Is there something wrong with me?
It was so frustrating. And I know for some of you it's gonna be like, what the fuck, bro? Look at you. You're lying to me. Of course you had results since you were 17. Dude, I lost my virginity when I was 19 years old. And all my friends lost their virginity. I was the tallest of my class. I was the tallest of my class. I think I was okay looking, maybe not the best looking. You can see a picture of me here. But really, I was not getting any results and I was not capable of creating sexual tension. So that's when I started to get interested in like, oh, how to use a pickup line, how to use a routine, what is technical game and all of this stuff, right? And obviously I had some not the best results, let's call it like this. Sometime it was working, but not long term. Never worked long term actually. And I think this is the downside of learning technical game or lines or routines is that sure, it can work maybe on the short term, but eventually she will see right through you, right through your bullshit, and she will lose respect. When she sees that you're all pretending that it's all fake what you do, she will see it, and she will lose attraction and then she will reject you. And then the same story happens again and again and again. So the insight that I got was very powerful because I experienced a shift at the time. I was like, okay, I've tried to focus on getting the girl through learning techniques and all of that. It didn't work too much. And at the time I heard someone, a mentor of mine, saying, how about you focus on relaxation and enjoying the presence of your woman that you have a date with or that you just met? And this felt like, come on, man, this is so simple. What the fuck, bro? And when I had the date with this woman, that's what I focused on. Now, there's one more thing that I want to share with you on this date, and I'll tell you later, because just focusing on relaxing and enjoying her feminine presence is not going to create sexual tension. But it's a very good foundation to have if you want to create intense sexual tension. Because if you overthink when you just met, if you feel anxiety, if you don't feel good enough, if you feel inadequate, all of this stuff, you basically have a wall between you and the woman. So whatever you try, because you feel anxious, because you're overthinking, because you feel inadequate, it's just not going to work because you have a wall in front of you and her, right? There's a wall between you and her. So the baseline should be to focus on relaxation and enjoying her feminine presence. This is what I did. We arrived at the bar, we sat down, ordered our drinks, and we just started to have a conversation. And what I did was very simple. We were having the conversation, and what I would do is I would notice in my body, almost like a body scan, where is the tension in my body? This is the question I was asking myself. Where is the tension in my body? So I focus a little bit, do a body scan. I don't have my eyes closed, okay? I'm looking at her, but now I'm doing with the eyes closed. And then I'm like, oh, okay, there's a bit of tension on my chest here. I'm noticing. So I focused on my chest and then I exhale a little bit deeper. This allowed me to relax that tension. Then I focused on my belly, noticed a little bit of tension there, did the same thing. Exhaled, relaxed the tension until it fully went away. And I did this exercise for like 5, 10 minutes, until I got to a point where I'm like, whoa, I'm so relaxed right now. I have this beautiful woman in front of me and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling okay. Like no anxiety, no overthinking about what should I say, what should I do. We're having this very casual conversation, nothing too complicated, like what's your job, blah, 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 what do you do in life? Nothing too complicated, really. But I'm fully relaxed. And then at one point, because again, I heard from my mentor, you need to use more silences. You need to create more silences in your conversation because the silence is the doorway of creating tension, of creating sexual tension. So, because I heard that from my mentor, I'm like, okay, let's try. I feel like I want to experience a silence with this woman. So what I did is I just stopped talking. She talked, but then it got to a point where she had nothing else to say. And then the silence appeared. And this is where most guys crumble, by the way. As soon as there is a silence, oh, I need to find something to say. Silence is so uncomfortable. Oh my God, oh my God. No. No, stop running away from that. The silence is actually a good thing. It's part of the conversation to have a silence. There's nothing wrong with that. The silence is just like another word in a way. So I embraced the silence and I started to look at her deep in the eyes like this. 5 seconds go by, still looking at her. 10 seconds go by, still looking at her. 1 minute go by, still looking at her. 3 minutes go by, I'm not kidding, still looking at her deep in the eyes. And she looks at me back deep in the eyes. Now, if you look at this situation from the outside, nothing is happening, really. We just look at each other's in the eyes. That's it. But internally, what I did that changed the game for me on how to create sexual tension is that I started to focus on my genitals. When I started to focus on my genitals, I started to feel more and more aroused. And because of the law of state transference, which basically means whatever you feel, she will feel, because I had no anxiety, no overthinking, no inadequacies, which means no walls between me and her, the sexual energy was transferred from me to her. And I noticed after 1 minute, her eyes changed a little bit. And I knew she was getting wet. And later she told me that she got wet in that moment. Now, long story short, because I'm not going to tell you the whole date, I tried to invite her home. There was a little bit of resistance because we didn't talk that much on that date, funny enough. So there was not a lot of trust, not a lot of safety, but she eventually agreed and we had a wonderful night. And after this experience, I was completely blown away by what just happened because I barely talked with this woman. And because the sexual tension was so intense, we couldn't resist each other and we had to have sex with each other. It was just impossible to say no to each other, right? Because we allowed the sexual tension to be created. And that was just magnificent. And then, basically, every time I would meet a woman, I would focus on relaxation, enjoying her feminine presence, and focusing on my genitals. Now, doesn't mean that it's going to work every single time, that if you leave a silence, you're going to have this 3-minute silence with a woman. No, not every woman is ready for this, okay? But it doesn't take away the fact that you can focus on relaxation, that you can focus on enjoying her feminine presence, and that you can focus on feeling aroused, right? So if focusing on your genitals doesn't bring any arousal, here's a few things that you can do. First one is you want to practice semen retention. You can masturbate, but not ejaculate, right? So you can do that for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You will see naturally your sexual energy will arise like crazy, right? And then just by focusing on your genitals, you're going to feel aroused. And if there's no walls between you and her, meaning no anxiety, no overthinking, no inadequacies, she will feel it too. You have to trust that because every man that experienced this law of state transference will tell you it's real. It's so real. It's just hard to comprehend because it doesn't make any sense logically, but it's so fucking real. Like, If you ever dare to experience that, you will see. Like, don't believe me. Go outside and try it out for yourself, right? So practice semen retention, and you will see that if you feel your genitals as you practice semen retention, naturally you will feel that sexual energy and she will feel it too. Another thing that you can do, especially when you have a date, if you just met her, it might be a bit complicated, but if you have a little bit of connection with her already, you feel the vibe, like you're enjoying and all of that, what you can do is you can imagine her, like as she's talking to you, you can imagine her having an orgasm. Like, how would she look like right now if she would have an orgasm? So imagine like she's moaning really hard, she's becoming red, all of this. And really look at her with this intensity as she is having an orgasm in your imagination. This is a really powerful technique that you can use to become so crazily attracted to her and also feel deep arousal, which, funny enough, will make her feel aroused as well because of the law of state transference. If you don't have the walls, it's going to happen. This is literally the framework that I teach to my clients to help them create sexual tension. It works every single time. The only thing that can be a problem is the walls that you have between you and her. For this, you will need to use different tools like internal work, shadow work, trauma work to stop feeling anxiety, to stop overthinking, to stop feeling inadequate, right? And if you want to watch more training about this, you can check my YouTube channel. I have done a few videos about this topic. This is not the topic of this video. And if you want to have access to a free course on how to grab at least one number from your 10 out of 10 in the next 7 days, I have made really like a whole course about this. It's not a sale video where I'm going to pitch you my program or anything like this. You can get it in the link down below, totally for free. You just need to give me your email and you will get it. And then you can unsubscribe from my mailing list if you don't want to receive any emails from me. All good. It's not a spam, don't worry. And I hope you enjoyed this video. This really came from my heart, and I see you.